On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, a road that physically and symbolically divides over the Rhine could be going back to the future. 50 years ago, Liberty Street was a narrow 2-lane road. Today, it is a wide 7-lane road, but that could change, freeing up Liberty Street. The city of Cincinnati is contemplating narrowing Liberty and using some right-of-way for development. The proposal, with the most community support, calls for returning 20 feet of developable land to the south side of the street. That would narrow it to 5 lanes with a center turn lane. Talk about the project started in May of 2012 when then Vice Mayor Roxanne Qualls and some council members asked the city to study putting Liberty Street on a road diet aimed at making it friendlier for walkers and bikers, and in turn ripe for development. The goal of the plan is to make the street safer, spur new investment, and erase the line that now splits OTR in half. Business Courier reporter Chris Wetterich wrote the story and joins editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio with more on what he found. Chris and Rob.
Peg, thanks. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Fascinating story, which I didn't even know you were working on until a couple weeks ago, which usually isn't the case. But so Peg mentioned some of the details, but I'm really interested in how much are we talking about? Like, where would this road diet start and where would it end, and who benefits?
I mean, eventually it would go all the way from Reading Road on the east side of the street to the west end where it kind of terminates. You know, it really would benefit. It's viewed as benefiting two sets of people. I think the community, which is the OTR community, which is divided by Liberty Street. It's 7 lanes wide. It's not exactly easy to cross that street. No. Sometimes you can't get in under the light that you have there. Right. And it would also, you know, benefit landowners there potentially. It depends on how the city would reallocate this 20 feet of right-of-way from the street that they'll take and they'll put back into a developable state. And so they could sell that land to the developers that are there now, or the landowners that are there now. They could auction it off, kind of, you know, they haven't really figured that out yet, but it's something that potentially could happen.
Well, in the paper, we have a map of who owns a lot of these properties along that southern stretch of Liberty. You talked to some of these property owners. What was their reaction? Had they heard of the idea, by the way?
Some people had, some people hadn't. There was kind of a mixed reaction to it. Now keep in mind, 3CDC, which owns probably the most property, as well as the city, 3CDC wasn't going to talk to us about this possibility at this point. They stand, I think, to benefit maybe the most from it. Some of the other landowners they liked the idea. There's a group that owns, or it's called Horizon, and they basically own like a cell phone store or something in the middle of a kind of a large tract vacant lot. And they were very much in favor of it as long as the traffic situation is under control with reducing it to 5 lanes. They think it's got a lot of potential. Others thought there might be a parking issue by taking the parking out daytime, which is what the plan would call for, the leading plan. So there's some mixed reaction. I think the city has some work to do here.
Well, I'm sure you'll have more on this, and as anybody who's ever tried to cross on foot Liberty Street and live to tell a story, which I have barely a few times, this will be interesting to see if it happens. Thanks so much for being here.
No problem.